lovely. I mean, I only arrived last night, so our flight was a bit delayed, so we were a bit late. So I sort of rushed in, got ready, and went straight to the palace. So, I mean, if you're going to arrive somewhere, that's the way to do it, I think. Yeah. So, no, we've had a fantastic time so far. I had a lovely evening last night, and then press today, and then obviously the main event tomorrow. So, looking forward to it.
A lot of the American actors have said it's a fun way for them to kind of reconnect with people they don't always see at home. Is there the British contingent doing the same thing? Are you guys mixing with the Americans?
Yeah, a few. I've bumped into a few friends. Obviously, Joanne Griffith was here, who's my co-star in Liar, and his wife, which was lovely to see them. And Eleanor Tomlinson's here as well, who I know. So it's been lovely to bump into her. And yeah, so I think you do, you know, naturally, you know, sort of swarm together in your sets, I guess.
Liar's in competition here. You're in competition as well.
Yeah.
Best Actress. Do you feel a certain amount of stress going into this, or is it so? Are you so far removed from it now that you don't?
No, I don't find it stressful. I'd say it's exciting. You know, it's lovely to. It's so lovely to be recognised and nominated, and for the show to be nominated, and we have the 3 nominations for the show with myself and Joanne and the show itself. So we're all just thrilled. You know, it's not stressful. I think it's important to enjoy these moments, and you know, it's we all want what we do to be successful, and it's a celebration of that. And so I just always see it as an experience that you need to sort of take in every moment and appreciate. So yeah, so no.
Television's evolved in so many ways over the past 20 years, a lot in storytelling as well, where characters are no longer all good, all bad. They're sort of in this gray area, which comes out a bit in Liar. Was that something that,
yes,
that interested you in the part? Was that you were playing in that middle zone?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, I think it's very human to be in the grey area. I don't think, you know, many people are all bad or all good. I think it's practically an impossibility. So, you know, it feels much more realistic to me to have characters that are complex and flawed and behave in ways that you wish they wouldn't, and behave in ways that you want them to as well. And with Liar, you know, especially, it was a fascinating story to me. When I read the first episode, I thought, you know, not only is it a brilliant thriller and in terms of a piece of entertainment, but it also threw up a lot of really interesting and important questions for me. And after reading the first episode, I really didn't know who was telling the truth, and I felt really uncomfortable about the fact that I didn't know who was telling the truth. And the first time I met with James Strong, our director, to talk about doing the role, I said, well, who's lying? Like, I have to know who's lying before we go any further. And so I won't spoil it in case people haven't seen it. But I just thought Jack and Harry did a brilliant job of creating these 2 characters who, you know, neither of them behave brilliantly in certain situations, but you know, you really don't know who to believe and who to invest in, you know. So yeah.
So many of the fans here know you from Downton Abbey.
Yes.
What if you had to pick one shoot from one day of shooting, one memory from that time that you remember as sort of your favorite? What would it be?
Oh, it's a bit naughty, actually. The first thing that springs to mind is it was during the final season we were shooting, and we filmed some of the church scene. So any wedding that was in Downton, we filmed at this beautiful church in this village called Bampton. So we'd go there every series for a few days or a week or something at some point, because that was the outside village of Downton. And there was this lovely couple who used to let us use their house as our green room. So we'd sit and sort of have lunch there and stuff, and obviously we got to know them really well, because usually with big cast it'd be all of us there, you know, because it'd be an event or something, like somebody's wedding. And I think it was Mary and who was it? I think it might have been Mary's wedding. It was a wedding in the final season, but it was a beautiful sunny day, and we were a bit naughty because somebody got a bottle of wine out at lunchtime in the house that we were staying in, and then the guys whose house it was went, "Do you guys want a glass of wine?" They were just being polite, and so we all went, Yeah, okay. So because we were just sort of like sat in the background and stuff. We did, so it was actually like being at a real wedding, because we spent the afternoon drinking wine and then popping in to see the bride and then going out. So you're not allowed to do that. But yeah, that was definitely one of my most fun memories. So Maggie was there with a glass of wine, and we were all sort of like, oh, do we have to go back onto set? Can we not just stay here? So that was pretty fun, yeah.
Do you find in the States there's so many great cinema actors who are now moving, clambering over themselves to get into television? Do you notice the same thing in the UK? I mean, you mentioned Maggie Smith. Is it a movement as well amongst the British big film stars who want to get into TV too?
I think all across the board, yeah. I mean, I think, television has become so strong, and the production value is so high, and, you have the time to tell a bigger story. And TV, or a lot of television now, is at the level of great film, if not surpassing some film, so there's no longer this sort of TV being the cheaper version of film. It's very much on a level, and so it's exciting. I think it's great. I think it's a fantastic time for television, actually. And it's really interesting to see, movie stars making that leap and wanting to do that, and enjoying telling, being in a mini-series or something where you have 8 or 10 hours to tell a story as opposed to 2. So I just think it's a really exciting time.